Hello everyone, my name is Hanisa Dela U. I am from Chemical Engineering 21 BLU. Today I will talk about colligative properties of the solution. Colligative properties are physical properties of a solution that only depend on the concentration of solid particles, but not on their type. Colligative properties of solution include vapor pressure, freezing point elevation, and osmotic pressure. Colligative properties, especially freezing point depression and osmotic pressure, may have many uses in everyday life. Some applications of freezing point depression can sustain life over the winter. Application osmotic pressure are found in nature, in medicine, and in the biological science. The follow is an explanation of the application of colligative properties of solution in everyday life. The Dead Sea is an example of decrease in solvent vapor pressure by a very hot and dry desert area, and is not related to the open sea, so the concentration of solid is higher. When swimming in the Dead Sea, we will not drown because of the concentration of solid very high. This, of course, can use as a means of entertainment of reaction for humans. The application of the same principle to the Dead Sea can be found in several tourist attractions in Indonesia in the form of floating pool. In the application of freezing point depression, there are such as making coolant mixture, antifreeze in car radiator, antifreeze in animal bodies, antifreeze to melt snow, and determining relative molecular mass. Refrigerant is an aqueous solution having a freezing point well below 0 derajat Celsius. Coolant is used in ice factories. It is also used to make ice roll. Coolant is removed by dissolving various types of salt in water. In making ice, the coolant is made by mixing table salt with ice cubes in a wooden lined vessel. After mixing, the ice cubes will melt while the temperature of the mixture drops. Meanwhile, the mixture of operating ice maker is put in another vessel made of stainless steel. This vessel is then put into the coolant while continuously stirring until the mixture solidifies. While the antifreeze on the car radiator include climates, ethyl glycol is usually added to the radiator water. In cold climates, radiator water freezes easily. If this situation is left unchecked, then the vessel radiator will quickly be damaged. With the addition of ethyl glycol to the radiator water, it is expected that the freezing point of the water in the radiator will decrease. In other words, the water will not freeze easily. While the antifreeze in animal body, animals that live in cold climates, such as polar bear, use the principle of the colligative property of freezing point depression to survive. The blood of marine fish contains antifreeze substance that can lower the freezing point of water to 0.8 derajat Celsius. Thus, marine fish can survive winter temperatures reaching 1.9 derajat Celsius because the antifreeze substance they contain can prevent the formation of ice crystal in their tissues and cells. Other animals whose bodies contain antifreeze include insects, amphibians, and nematodes. Insect bodies contain glycerol and dimethyl sulfoxide. Amphibians contain blood glucose and glycerol, while nematodes contain glycerol and terephthalate. While the antifreeze to melt snow in areas that have a snowy season, every time it snows, the roads are filled with icy snow. This, of course, makes the vehicle difficult to drive. To overcome this, the snowy road is sprinkled with a mixture of NaCl and CaCl salt. The sprinkling of the salt can melt the snow. The more salt you sprinkle, the more snow will melt. And finally, measurement of the colligative properties of a solid. This can be done because colligative properties depend on the concentration of solid. By knowing the mass of the solid and the freezing point depression, the relative molecular mass of the solid can be determined. In the osmosis pressure application, there are such as controlling cell shape, blood washing machine, water absorption by plant roots, and seawater distillation through reserve osmosis. The controlling cell shape solutions that have some osmotic pressure are called isotonic. Solutions that have a lower osmotic pressure than other solutions are called hypotonic. Meanwhile, the solution is called hypertonic. An example of an intravenous fluid that is put into the blood. Intravenous fluid must be isotonic with intracellular fluid to prevent osmosis either into or out of blood cell. Thus, the blood cells are not damaged. The blood washing machine. Patients with kidney failure should undergo dialysis therapy. Therapy uses the dialysis method, which is the process of moving small molecules such as protein so it will remain in the blood. The water is absorbed by plants through the roots. Plants contain dissolved substance so that their concentration is higher than the water around the plant so that water in the soil can be absorbed by plants. Reverse osmosis is seepage of solvent or from a more dilute solution. Reverse osmosis occurs when a solution is subject to a pressure. Reverse osmosis is used to make pure water from seawater by placing a pressure on the surface of the seawater that is greater than its osmotic pressure. Water is forced to seep from the salt water into the pure water through a membrane that is permeable to water but not to ions in seawater. Without sufficient pressure, water will spontaneously seep from pure water into salt water. Okay, that's from me. Thank you and see you next time. Bye bye.